Welcome. First of all, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We are here in Northern California in December, kind of in the middle of an atmospheric river, but I wanted to come out and make a really quick video about specifically the care of sugarcane. I made a sugarcane video. I've had some requests for some additional info, and I know this atmospheric river is going to keep on going for at least a week. So I wanted to get out here and brave the weather and go ahead and make that video. So anyways, one of the first questions was, what do I do in the winter to protect the sugarcane? Because we do get freezing weather. Our nights get down into the 20s sometimes, so we do protect our sugarcane. Okay, so our sugarcane is right here. It doesn't look gorgeous right now. We've already harvested it because the key is harvest it before your first frost. Otherwise, yeah, it could get damaged. So you don't want it to freeze before you've harvested your cane. So anyways, what I do is I buy Timothy hay. Anything similar would probably work. And my sugarcane is pretty well established. I've had it now for about 2 years. So I don't need a lot of protection because the roots go deep. But especially if you have a baby plant, you'll definitely want to cover it with something, and I recommend some sort of a Timothy hay. So I'm just gonna, it's not real glamorous, I just dump it on, spread it out. Okay. Really not glamorous. So we haven't had our first frost yet, but you can see it's already kind of, some of these top branches are already kind of dying off. That's okay, the roots are gonna be fine, and in the spring I'm gonna get some nice fresh growth. Okay. Another question I got was, what kind of soil do I use? This is a great question. I get this question a lot from just about everybody actually. So what I do is I typically make a blend. I blend topsoil from our local landscaping company. We buy their compost topsoil mix, and then I bring that home and I blend it even further. I blend it with manure. We have some ranches here. We're in Chico, California, which is Northern California. We have some ranches that live nearby, some ranchy homes, and they make their own manure compost blend, and we buy it huge bags, and I blend it with the topsoil. And sometimes I also blend in some Happy Frog soil, which is a bagged soil that you can buy at a lot of different nurseries. I like that soil because it's very loose. So if I'm trying to root like a cutting of something, that is a perfect rooting soil because it's very loose, and it's also got already some plant food in it. So that is what I do when I plant my plants. I dig out what's already here because we are built on top of horrible clay and rock. So I dig that out, I dispose of it, I put in the blend that I make, the custom blend with topsoil from the local landscaper, manure, and sometimes Happy Frog. So that is what I do. Okay, another question that I get a lot is, what do I feed the plants? Well, I feed them a lot actually. One of the things I feed the plants is manure. This is the prime time of year. Between now and like early February, I get big bags of manure from our local ranches, and I spread it out all over my yard on every single plant. I pretty much cover the whole yard in about this much manure. It's like a manure compost blend that the ranches make with all their leaf debris and all that. So I buy from them huge feed bags, and I spread it all over. So that's my primary source of plant food. Second of all, I make something that I call magic milkshake, and I get a big bucket and I go to our local feed store and I buy in bulk. I made a list because I didn't want to forget anything. I buy azomite, kelp meal, bone meal, feather meal, rock dust, green sand, and fish meal. And I put a big scoop, about a half a cup, into the bucket of each thing. I fill it with water and I mix it like a witch with it's like a cauldron. So I mix and mix and mix and mix, and then I give each plant like about a cup or two of that magic milkshake. And I do that during the growing season probably about 3 times. Our plants start waking up generally around February here in Northern California. So I start then. When they wake up, I start feeding them. I feed them maybe 3 or 4 more times in the springtime. In the summer, I don't do much feeding because I don't really want to encourage new growth because we get scalding summers. So that's about it. Oh, and if I'm in a pinch and I don't have time to make Magic Milkshake, I like Dr. Earth. They're a pretty good brand. They already pre-mix all that stuff. You can buy it on Amazon or almost any nursery. So that's, if I'm in a pinch, I do that. Okay, one more question, last question. What is my watering schedule? Okay, so we are in Chico, California, Northern California. We get scalding hot summers. It gets up to about 115 regularly. It's above 100 for sometimes weeks at a time. So once our spring hits, we generally don't get rain pretty much for most of the end of spring in through summer, and our first rain usually doesn't come until fall. So we have very, very hot, dry summers. So I water quite a bit. We do have irrigation that waters twice a day. However, some of my beds are not on irrigation, and I also hand water because I find that irrigation doesn't always hit everything and it doesn't always hit it well. So I actually water everything twice a day. Sometimes I get lazy and I do once a day, but I think the key is what I do is I deep water. I will put the hose down on, especially sugarcane. Sugarcane likes a lot of water. It's a tropical plant. It doesn't want to dry out. I will put the hose on the sugarcane on a trickle, and I'll leave it there for about an hour, maybe even 2. Sometimes I forget about it and leave it overnight, but that's not ideal. And I do that about twice a week, actually, in addition to its twice daily waterings where I really drench it. You'll want to really make sure you do this when the plant is a baby, because baby plants are trying to grow deep roots, and they won't get deep roots if the soil beneath them is dry. So you want to make sure that water goes deep, and the best way to do that is to let it trickle for about an hour or 2, a couple times a week, and then the roots will go down seeking that water. Otherwise, the roots are going to stay close to the surface, which is not ideal because they will get fried. So, and I also mulch. I put a thick layer of wood chips on top of all of my plants, but especially things that love water like sugarcane. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will get right back to you as best I can. Thanks so much. Happy holidays.